All right, I just had to make sure that we was all good to go. So y'all watching this and the original link ain't gonna work. YouTube kind of was tweaking me out with that. That's kind of messed up that the original link didn't work, and I like sent that out to people. But hopefully you'll come to my channel and then it'll just take you to it. Um, Hopefully it'll come to my channel and it'll just take you to it. Take you to the actual live. So yeah. So jumping right into it, definitely always got to start a little bit early, but I'm gonna see what's popping by. Let me see. Let me sign into my other account so I can actually check the views and stuff out like that. Let's see what's going on. Sign into my other account and then search for what's going on. Say I'm live right now. All right, cool, bet. So, yes. Because I am very sleepy, and this is going to help me. Let's get it. Listen. I'm going to do an OG style with the glasses on. A funny story, right? There was a person that, there was like, when I first started the channel, somebody was telling me that that basically because I had shades on, that they couldn't take the information as serious. And I was like, I thought about that, like, are you serious? Like, you gotta be playing. Like, you gotta be playing. So I'm like, how does the glasses distort? Like, they don't distort my voice. The glasses don't change the information that's coming out. Whether I say glasses, it's kind of like saying that a person that's behind, like over the, if a person is giving you value over the phone because you don't see their face, the value of the information ain't the same. And it was kind of like, yeah, I will take you more serious without the glasses. But if I was talking to you over the phone, you wouldn't see me either, or you wouldn't see my face. You don't know what I'd be wearing then, so it's like you still wouldn't take me serious. I don't know. I feel like people just be finding any reason to have something to say about what you're doing, or whatever the case may be. So I just want to say that jumping into this live, we're going to it's going to officially kick off in a few minutes. So if this is you watching the replay right now, don't trip. You should be able to fast forward to about 2 minutes. I'm gonna start. Jumping into this though, I definitely made. You gotta a part of business, a major part of business, entrepreneurship is that you gotta do the stuff that you don't feel like doing. And it's not that I didn't want to do live. I was very tired today. Had a long night, a long day, and so I'm sitting there like, man, I want to do a live. I went live. What was that, like around this time last week? Maybe even it was over the weekend or something. I'm like, man, I got to go live again. You know, to really keep giving value. Because I'm focusing more on my YouTube channel, and I just want to get y'all extreme value of all kinds. So like, pretty much expect a live from me every single week on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll know when I'm going live. But I'm gonna put way more focus on like my YouTube channel instead of putting a lot of focus into like like the IG and the Facebooks and all that. Like I rock with YouTube the long way because people come to YouTube to figure out stuff. You know what I'm saying? YouTube University, right? So I'm in the space of educating. I'm in the space of helping people get to their next steps or whatnot, right? So that's what we got going on right now. That's what we got going on right now. So hopefully everybody catches on because the link was tripping when I went live with the scheduled live link. it was like repeating itself, and it was like echoing, and it was like doing weird stuff, and I just so and deleting it, I kind of messed up the flow because I had see the yawning. I'm like, man, but I had sent the link out to over, you know what I'm saying, over 1,000 people, right? So I'm sending the link out to check out the live because last time it was just like straight up like, yo, I'm gonna give out this game, and that's what it's gonna be. This time, something similar, but I had to make sure that I sent out the info. All right, so let's actually jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. All right, so if you don't already know, my name is Jarrell. Welcome to Creative Habits, and basically, I'm talking about a lot of stuff on this channel. So, but we didn't come here for the intro. We came here for the straight value, right? So, I'm not even going to jump into the. I guess I'll jump into the event space portion right now. I'll jump right into the event space portion right now. So, a lot of people are looking to get started in the event space, and it's kind of like, well, let's first cover like why would you even want to get started with an event space? Why would you even want to get started with any sort of like real estate? Well, understanding that event spaces are very much so real estate, and not looking at it from a not looking at it so much from a well, people just throw parties there type of situation, but looking at it from, well, this is your chance to leverage real estate as if you own an apartment building or a rental property or anything, Airbnb, but instead of making all of your money at like the end of the month, or instead of making the majority of your money, you know, after people have stayed in your space for, you know, days or even weeks, you're gonna make money after 4 hours or even 2 hours, depending upon what you got going on. Because like I got some tape, the space is taped off because of a dance team that's in here practicing, right? So they're gonna pay by the hour. So like when you get like a dance team or a podcaster or a content creator or something to that degree, you can have them either pay by the hour or you can have them into like a locked in standard contract to where they're giving you their time, they're giving you um, they're paying you based on the amount of time that they're giving you on an hourly rate, or you can pay them, you can get them locked into like a contract. If it's gonna be like a podcast or something like that, I like more of like the monthly contract scenario because it just allows you a lot more flexibility. So the major like knocking off the major keys why anybody would even want to get into an event space, why anybody would even want to get into it is because of the extra income essentially that you can make. Now, you can make like good quality extra money with just one event space. I'm talking like, say you work a 9 to 5 right now, right? And you're like, well, Jarrell, I heard you think about getting my event space, right? So if you work a 9 to 5 right now and you go ahead and you grab your space, I be like, how would making like how would making an extra $3,000 to $10,000 like would that change your life? Like, of course, you can make the sky's the limit of what you can make. I know I've mentioned it. You've probably seen videos of people talking about making 50K in a month or 100K in a month and stuff like that, right? And all of those things are possible. Yes, they are possible. But before we run, right, we gotta walk. We gotta crawl and we gotta walk first. So it's like setting. I want you to set the bar high when you do any business, but I also want you to come out because what happens is that we get tied up so emotionally into numbers and into money that if you come out the gate wanting and saying that I'm gonna make if you come out the gate saying that you're gonna make, there was like when I first started the channel, somebody was telling me that they didn't get it, that they didn't So if you come out the gate, if you come out the gate thinking that you're gonna, if you come out the gate wanting to make, if you come out the gate and you say, well, I'm gonna make 100K, and if you don't make that 100K, most of the time what happens to most people due to emotions, and I'm reading this book about like emotions And when it comes to like money and finances, what happens is you're like, you get discouraged because, but you have such a high when you have, you're on like cloud nine when you make the money that you want to make, but then when you lose money or you don't make the money you want to make, you get really, really discouraged within the process, and you get to start the question, well, is this business for me? So I like to like set realistic expectations, and when I say realistic, I mean like your first month. You know, you can dominate your first month, but I also would like you to understand that like I also want you to I want you to dream big, but I also want you to and never stop dreaming big and measure your metrics. That's the biggest piece. Like, I don't want you to not go for a 100K month or 50K month, but I want you to measure your metrics. So ask yourself if you're going to come out the gate and say, okay, I'm going to go for a 100K month. Well, what do you think it would take you to make 100,000 a month? Now, it's going to be hard for you to get this together if you've never made $100,000 at all, and it's going to be hard for you to get it together, even if it's going to be hard for you to get it together if this is your first excuse me, it's going to be hard for you to get together if this is your first business, right? Because if this is your first business, you don't even know what to expect. So starting out, on average, I'll just say this: on average, the average owner is going to make about $3,000 to $10,000 extra after rent paid and everything like that. Very, very doable, right? What could an extra, essentially $36,000 to $120,000 on the low end, right? On the minimum level, what could that do for you and your situation? And so identifying that, that's for starters. Once you know what it can do for your situation, that is your exact why of why you want to do the business, right? Because then it's like, well, I know that this is going to allow me to, to maybe cut down on my hours and go part time with my job because I'll be able, I'll have triple my income and X Y Z X Y Z X Y Z, right? So if you go about it like that, then it's like, okay, if you go about it like that, if you go about it like that, then it's like, okay, well, now you know your why. Then if anything comes along, you like a lot of people don't understand that you need to be emotionally together when it comes to starting a business because you're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows, you're gonna have peaks, you're gonna have valleys. And what based on the emotions that you have at each stage of the process, it's gonna determine how successful you are as a business owner. If you are so emotional to the point where you're only happy when you're up in business, then you're not going to be able to handle the lows in business. And the lows are where all of the secrets are, the learning lessons, the journey. Like the journey is not just making the money. The journey is losing the money or not making money or having slow months or getting, you know, like understanding the process. Like that's the journey. And like everything in between making $120,000 a month, zero to 120,000. So zero being you're a new business owner to making 120K a year with your event space. It boils down to the everything in between is what's going to build your character and what's going to determine how successful you truly are because you're going to have to master your emotions. You're going to have to master how you feel. Like on a day to day, most people are letting a small situation, a 5 minute situation or a 10 minute situation, they're letting that throw them off. And in essence, that little situation is the difference maker in whether or not they become truly successful, right? That's the difference maker in whether or not they end up becoming truly successful. And if more people understood that business is 100% like it is, when people say business is 90+% mental, what they're really saying is that the mental side of it is what causes those emotions. So if business is 90% mental, and I know that, then I can't be so emotional when it comes to me going after certain things in business. Which is why one of the main reasons when I work with people and they go after the rental arbitrage and they're looking to get event spaces, or they're looking to get Airbnbs, or they're looking to start any business, I'm telling them, like, you got to be prepared for the highs and the lows of business. You're not going to always have a 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K month. If things go slow, you got to have a plan of what you're going to do. You got to always have that plan of what's going to happen when things go slow. If you don't get the funding that you wanted to get, you can't say, okay, well, I'm gonna quit just because I ain't get the funding that I thought I was supposed to get. If you don't get, like, whatever the case may be, like, you have to have your mind 100% together in order to be able to thrive in that first year of business, because of the fact that 90% of business owners are going to fail that first year. It's not a maybe, it's not a guess, it's not a make-believe story. It's a real life metric. Like, look up the numbers. 90% of people fail that first year, and then there's like another, then 50%, 10% of that 100%. So the other 10% that don't fail will, I think it's like 50% of them fail over the first like 3 to 5 years. So if you're going to be in that top 5, that top 1% to that top 5%, what can you do to master your mind right now, currently, today, to change things up for your life? Because if you want when people go after Airbnbs, or when they go after event spaces, or they go after tours, like, do you really understand that getting you're getting into some form of debt, in a sense, because you get a loan, you got to pay it back. If you get funding, you got to pay it back. And it's like, so many people, they're going after, well, I need funding. And it's like, yeah, you do need funding, no cap. You do need funding, right? But if you're not making money, what is your plan? What is the contingency plan to pay the money back, right? What is the contingency plan for you to pay the money back if you know for a fact that right now the business is not making money? Are you strong enough to withstand the struggles of first starting out? Because the first couple of months, if you don't prepare right with something like an Airbnb or an event space, you're not going to make no money. And in my eyes, honestly, it's all the same, just from hearing what people have said about having an Airbnb, and how it's been difficult, and having the event space, and how it's been difficult. Like, what do you do the first couple of months, the first couple of weeks? Well, you got to market. What does your marketing plan look like? Well, you got to keep in mind that everybody is booking your space 45 days ahead of time, right? They're booking it 30 to 45 days ahead of time. So if I'm booking the space 30 to 45 days ahead of time, that means while you're actually looking to close on the property, or you have already closed on the property, you shouldn't wait until you get the space, complete, like this space is behind me. Don't wait until you get all the walls painted, the floors are done, and you get all the tables and chairs to start promoting. That's probably by far the silliest thing in the world to do, only because of the fact that people got to get to know you. So we're spending too much time spending money when we're not spending enough time making money, right? So we got to spend the extra time to make the money with the event space by getting those bookings up front. So when you do something, when you get like concessions, which basically means you're going to get 3 months rent, when you negotiate those terms into your lease to get multiple months free, well, then guess what you need to do? You need to be getting in front of people right then and there while you got that free rent, and figuring out a marketing strategy that actually is going to work. Business is not about posting, right? Even though posting is a form of marketing, business is truly all about marketing and sales. Without marketing and sales, you're not going to make it in business, especially if you get a space. Because you got to think about what getting an event space actually means for you. Like, you got to think about what the event space actually means for you. You got to get bookings, right? So what does that mean to get bookings? You got to talk to people. What does that mean? People have to know where you are. What does that mean? People have to see your website. What does that mean? People have to understand that you are a real life business and you're not going to scam them, right? So in the city that I'm in, people are very skeptical in Chicago about booking people's spaces, because a lot of people's spaces get shut down. So people be like, "Yo, I'm getting scammed. I don't even want to." What's going on, T? they be like, yo, I don't even want to book with a space because people be setting up spaces and they don't even have the licensing, right? So people have to know you, like you, and trust you to shop with you. And how do people know you, like you, and trust you? Well, they see you talking about your space. They see you actually in your space. They see you actually putting out some form of content. They see you actually getting out there talking to them, getting in front of them, right? Like I'm actually in the street talking to people that walk past my space. I'm actually in the community talking to people and networking with the people. Like you got to get really in the trenches of the business when you're first starting out, and you got to be willing to get your hands dirty. You got to be willing to, and when I say get your hands dirty, I mean like really do the stuff that don't nobody want to do. It's hard to get in front of a person and say, "Hey, look, I'm a new business owner. This is my business up the street. Here's one of my flyers." Because you know what it is psychologically, that person could tell you, "No, I don't want to take it," and that could be defeating to you. So if you're not comfortable with taking no's or hearing no, it's going to be very challenging to have a storefront business. A storefront business means you got to bring people into the store. An event space business means you got to bring people into the space by any means necessary, right? So we got to get those bookings and we got to get them early. So that say you sign a lease for 3 months, right? So typically, how I mean not 3 months, 3 years. Typically, the amount of years that you sign a lease for generally is the amount of concessions that you want to go for. So if you sign a 3 year lease, you want to try to get at least 3 months or more free. I'm always going for more than that. I'm always going for like that like double up. Because if you start high in a negotiation, then you can meet kind of in the middle, right? So let's say you get 3 months free, right? Well, in those 3 months, you should be trying to lock in as many bookings as you can, just to guarantee that you're going to be able to pay the rent the first couple of months. So 3 months of bookings, if you get bookings throughout those 3 months, you should be 6 months ahead by the time it's time for you to pay rent, or at least 2 to 3 months ahead by the time it's time for you to pay rent, because of the fact that, especially if you're starting your space out now, this is why I'm telling people, like, if you're on this live right now and you ain't got your space, if you're on this live right now, you ain't got your space, I need you to get it ASAP, because you don't want to get the space after the summer and then you're in the slower season because you're just opening up in the fall and the winter. You want to give the summer months are your time for people to get to know you, to make sure you're not scamming them, and for them to be like, "Oh yeah, I want to shop with you. I rock with what you got." Right? You got to build that rapport with your clientele, and the only way to do that is through marketing. So here are some marketing tactics for you that you can use and implement today. Now, if y'all are actually catching what I'm putting down, if you actually hearing what I'm saying, if you get some value from this, if you on the tube right now watching this, make sure you drop some comments, like check it out. And these marketing, these sales tactics that I'm about to give you, like you can run these exact same plays for any business. It doesn't matter if you're doing rental arbitrage, Airbnb, event spaces, Turo. You can run it for any business. And a lot of people don't understand that if I don't market my business, and I mean even on a micro level of posting every day, you're not going to excel, right? So number one, you need to be email marketing. So you need to have a website set up. You need to have a website set up or a landing page set up where you can collect some form of information so that you can email and you can promote directly to people's phones, because you don't own social media, right? So because you don't own social media, Instagram, they tell you we not showing your content to everybody. They show your content to probably about 30% of the people that's on your 30% of your followers. So they only showing my content, say you got 1,000 followers. If they're only showing your content to 300 people, out of that 300 people, if you look at real sales numbers means that only about 1% of those 300 would actually, you hopefully get a 1% click through rate. That 1% is only, what is that? Out of 300, what's that? 30 people, 3 people. So whatever that number is, well then, yeah, because 10% is 30, so 1% is 3 people. Out of them 3 people, only 3 people would click out of that 300. So if only 3 people click on whatever it is that you're selling, that you're trying to promote through your social media platform, like that's not beneficial. But imagine if you knew for 100% fact, if I send out this email, it's gonna go to all 1,000 people, right? Now, it's going to go to all 1,000 people, but who knows if all 1,000 people are going to open? That's going to determine your email subject line. See, a lot of people got to understand that with email marketing, your subject line is the golden gem, is the gem that's going to make them open up and say, hey, look, I sent out this email to join me on live to over 1,000 people and letting them know that, like, yo, look, this is what's going on. This is what I got going on. If y'all can show up, that's what it is, right? But by guaranteeing that, by sending it through email, I pretty much guarantee that at some point over the next hour to 2 hours while I'm online, if I stay on that long, that these people are going to see that I emailed them and they're going to have the option to actually open versus if I'm just posting on social media and relying that the algorithm is going to only show it to 30% of the people. So we got to be email marketing in all businesses, but especially if we got our event-based business. So I'm kind of working backwards, y'all, that are on YouTube. This class is going to be about funding, but we're going to go into funding next. We got to cover the marketing and sales piece, but because before you get the money, you got to know how to pay the money back. You got to be able to pay the money back. You got to be able to get bookings and make sales to pay the money back. So let's cover that first. So first on the email marketing. So I got to create a landing page, which is a single page website that has an opt-in form that where I'm collecting name, email, and phone number, and I'm giving them something in exchange for that. So maybe you're giving them 10% off their first event, 20% off their first event, 30% off, whatever you want to give them off. Now keep in mind that you do have 3 months free rent. So if I got 3 months free rent, you got a lot of flex room in terms of what type of discount that you can give to the people because of the fact that you got this 3 months free rent. So you can go with a deeper discount. You can go with a deeper discount just to guarantee that you're actually going to be able to get that extra money. The name of the game when you first start any business is clients. How many clients can I get, and how many clients how many customers can I get, and how do I take my customers from being a customer across the bridge to a client? See, understanding that customers come and shop with you once, clients shop with you multiple times. So you need to create some sort of rapport with them so that they're going to not just book you that one time in your space, but they're going to keep booking over and over and over again. And if they don't book you, they're going to refer people to you. Now, one of the main things that I like to market is an affiliate program. If I create some sort of affiliate program and tell people, hey, look, join my email, enter your name, email, and phone number to make an extra $100 a week. Everybody right now wants to make money. So if you tell somebody I'm gonna or make an extra $100 a day, if people send you bookings and people actually book and they use their name and they refer them, and you're gonna pay them an extra $100, do you think that people won't sign up? Do you think that people don't need the extra 100? If you got to think about how a person's mind works. People are thinking about, when you tell somebody extra $100 a day, they're not literally thinking $100 a day. In their mind, they're thinking $700 a week, $2,000 plus a month. That's how their brain works. They're not just thinking about the daily, they're thinking about the larger number, which would be that $2K a month. An extra $2K a month change a lot of people's lives, especially with the fact that we're stepping into quote unquote a recession, right? We're flirting with a recession right now. So if you create an affiliate program and say, hey, look, in exchange for your information, I'm going to make you a premier member of my affiliate program where you can earn $100 a day. Learn more about that by entering your information here. So that after they enter their information, that very first email that you're sending them from your event space email, you need a real email, not your Hotmail that you created back in high school, not your Gmail that's talking about some luscious cookies. None of that. No, you need to actually create like you need to actually create like a real email domain, and you get that, a professional email. You can get that from Google, you can get that from Outlook, you can get it from anywhere. Google, if you get it from Google, the Gmail. If you get it from Google, it's only like $12 a month. It's really inexpensive. You can get it when you sign up for get your website or whatever the case may be. But you send them that email, and then you have an automated email that goes out and says, "Hey, look, congratulations! Thanks for tuning into my affiliate. Thanks for joining. Here's the information on the affiliate program. Here's how you can earn an extra $100 a month." Now, in the subject line of your email, you want to say, "Congratulations. Here's how you can earn $100," and that's gonna be that trigger to make that person open up that email, right? So now you got them on your email list, and once that person is on your email list for your space, you just got to make sure that you add value, right? Add a lot of value, because even if they don't book you, if they're an affiliate and they're sending people to you, you're still making income. Like, that's the name of the game. People get it wrong. You can't chase money when you have a business. You have to chase people. It's not about the money, it's about the people. The more people that you get, the more money that you'll make. The more people that you impact, the more people that you get in front of. So the easiest way to stick around and get in front of and be in front of and stay in front of a ton of different people is to create a system, right? You have a system like an email marketing system, like a text message. I'm gonna get into text soon, and then after we get into text, I'm gonna give y'all these funding plans. So you got the email marketing system that after they happy. You want to create a business that's predictable. Because if I create a business that's predictable, then I can step out of the business. Then I can truly automate it, and I can do what the hell I want to do each and every single day. But if the business is not predictable, if the business is up and down, if you don't really know your metrics, then how can you ever step out of the business? How can you ever go on that vacation you want and know that hey, I can go away for a month, right? I can go away for a month or 2 weeks because I know what my business is going to do over the next couple of weeks, right? Then the next piece up is, okay, cool. We sending out text messages, right? So when we run in the text message play for the business, it's the same thing. But with text messages, because of certain text message laws, you can't be hitting people up like you would with an email. Like, you can probably email people multiple times a day, no problem. You don't want to be sending people 2, 3 text messages a day. They're going to block that text message number that you have. They're going to block that number that you have. So we can't even get into that, right? So once you get the email, once you have their email and their phone number, you can email them and you can text them. With the text messages, I'm sending out promotions and promotions only with text messages, because I want them to click the link and just go to it really fast, because you only have 160 characters to get your point across. So what do you want to use to write out your emails? Because you're probably on the other end of this. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're watching on the gram, you're probably thinking like, damn, what you real, I ain't good at writing emails. I don't know what to say in these text messages. I need you to really get good at Chat GPT. Like, I need you to get good at writing prompts, right? So if you want if you want the prompt that I use to write cold ass prompts, right? If you want the prompt that I use to write cold ass prompts, text 312-469-0955. Text prompt to 312-469-0955, and I'll give you the sauce on the prompts that you can use. And I'm gonna get that, and then I'll like actually copy and paste one of the prompts that I use. So I created a prompt for Chat GPT to write prompts for me, right? If that makes sense. So I created a prompt to make sure Chat GPT writes the prompts for me. Now, what does that allow me to do? Well, it allows me to turn out emails and text messages, marketing a lot faster, because Chat GPT is doing all the work. So you don't have to know about email marketing. You don't have to know about text message marketing, especially now. Like 10 years ago, when I started out in the marketing space, I had to learn about all this stuff. It wasn't an AI tool that was going to help me. It was only people and books, right? But now you don't got to think about nothing. You can literally type in the goal of what you wanted to do with the right prompt, and it'll spit out how you need to do it, right? So we got that together. We got our marketing, we got our sales. Well, we got our marketing pieces together. Now we got to focus on the sales. So how do we actually make money in the business? The best way to close somebody when you're selling them something on the higher end, when I say the higher end, I mean anything that's going to be $500 or more, you need to talk to them over the phone or in person. So all of you people that have y'all spaces already, But what y'all are doing, you letting people come in and you letting them just walk around in the space and do what they want to do and then leave. No, you need to be there to close them on the deal. You need to be there to answer their questions. You want to make them feel different because there are already other people doing that exact same thing. So you need to figure out, you got to figure out how you can separate yourself from the competition. And the easiest way to do that is to show up in person and to add value in person. A lot of people ain't add value in person. A lot of people ain't showing up in person. A lot of people ain't building rapport with people. If we do an open house or a showing, best believe I'm painting the picture of what the person should expect when they book with us. Best believe I'm painting a picture of the event that they want. So what can you do differently than your competition is doing? I encourage you to secret shop the competition. This is a marketing and sales tactic that a lot of people don't use. You got to know what the market is doing. You got to have real market analysis. Market analysis is a part of your business plan. And a lot of people skipping over the steps because everybody, I need to get funding. No, you need structure first. You need business structure before you talk about funding. Because if you don't have market analysis, if you don't know how to market, if you don't know how to sell, once you get that funding and you blow that money on, you buying a bunch of tables and chairs, you're buying all of these things that you don't need to start out with. What's crazy is after you get that started, right? After you get that started, what ends up happening to you is that you get that started, you ain't got no money left. And then you get that started, you ain't got no money left, you ain't making no money. So what does that mean? I'm not making no money. How you gonna pay your funding back? Everybody is hyping people up on social media and telling them about getting funded, and I applaud them for it. Yes, get your money, but you got to know how you're going to make the money before you get it. As a business owner, you need to have a damn good plan in place on how you're going to make the money. Because say you go after investors or you go after like CDFI loans, they're going to ask you in your business plan, what are your projections? And how are you actually going to make this money? And a lot of people be like a deer in headlights. Oh shit, I don't know. I was just hoping you was gonna give me shit 100K in 100 days. And it's like, nah, bro. They not just, it don't work like that. They gonna give you the money based off of what you got going on. When you really start to work with people and investors, they want to know how they're gonna get their money back. And when I say people and investors, shit, I mean the bank too. The bank is gonna ask you, how do I get my money back? Right? The bank want to know. The bank needs to know. The bank like, yo. The bank like, yo, I gotta know. Tammy, you ain't even gotta worry about the prompts. I got the prompt. I gotta upload the video that the prompt is in. The video for the prompts is inside the mastermind. So you ain't gotta worry about it. You got the prompts. Like you gonna be lit. You gonna be good. But the people that too many of us are like, I know y'all, funding. Yes, get your funding right. But know how you're going to make the money in the business. Have a solid plan. Work on your sales skills. Work on your people skills. Work on the inner you. Like if you walk into a car dealership or you walk into a store, and people where sales are the way that business is transaction, right? Like real sales where people are approaching you trying to sell you something. And you're like, no, I'm good. You got to understand that that's what people are going to do to you. You need to listen to that sales person and actually see how they are approaching you. So then you're going to better be able to do, what you need to do with sales. So if any of y'all are on YouTube and you're watching this and you're inside the mastermind, you don't need the prompts. The prompt information I'll drop it inside our Telegram group. This is that's for anybody that's not inside the mastermind. Mastermind, y'all got everything that y'all need. Y'all don't this stuff. Y'all don't need none of this, right? So on the side of we gotta understand sales, and the best way to understand sales is to be sold to. I go through people's sales processes just to see how they're invoking certain emotions out of me. I'm gonna let you sell me because that's gonna make me a better salesperson. You're not a business owner. You're not an event space owner. You're not an owner of an Airbnb, a tour space owner. You're not a credit repair specialist or a event planner or whatever. No, you are a salesperson. And in order to be a salesperson, you need to understand sales. People get their titles confused. You can say you're an event planner and all these things, but if you ain't planning no events, how you gonna call yourself an event planner? In order order for you to plan events, you need to sell your packages to people. In order for you to sell your packages, you got to be a salesperson. In order for you to be a salesperson, you got to understand sales. So get your sales game up all the way. Max your sales game out. What does that look like to max your sales game out? Well, shit, that looks like you actually going through reading certain books. That looks like you listening to the salesperson when they try to sell you. That looks like you communicating with people. A lot of times we don't know how to sell because we like shit. Your communication skills ain't no point. Like business is the business. Your business is going to be a reflection of who you are as a person. So if you're afraid to talk to people, maybe you need to create a business that doesn't require you to talk to people. Maybe you need to get in a lane that doesn't require that. But if you out here and you getting real estate, commercial property, and you know you got to communicate with people for these things, you can't necessarily do that. This may not be the space for you, right? So jumping right into a couple different funding plays, right? Off the bat, some of the funding plays, right? Some of the funding plays. If anybody is watching this video on YouTube right now, I need likes. I need y'all to like the video. I need y'all to like the video. Like the video. Don't just be here chilling. Like the video, right? So some of the funding plays. If you got money saved up in the bank, one of the main things that you could do if you got money saved up in the bank, once you open up your business bank account, and this is not financial advice, I got to put this disclaimer out there, y'all, but this is just like things that are tried, tested. Once you open your business bank account, you have a seasoned bank account, right? Over 3 months, you can apply for certain pieces of funding because the banks work in 90-day increments. Well, what does that mean? So that's why I'm telling you to keep the money in there for 90 days or more, 10K plus, and keep making deposits. So if you got 10,000 somewhere saved up, put it into a business bank account, let the money get seasoned, let the bank know, and keep making deposits into that account, and let the bank know that you're serious about creating a relationship with them, do microtransactions, and keep that balance above that 10K. And then so now they're like, oh, okay, well, you held this 10K plus in the account. We can let you apply for something. Now, even if you don't want to apply directly with the bank, because you got different bank levels, so you got national banks, you got regional banks, and you got your local banks and credit unions, right? The nationals are going to be like your Chases and your Bank of Americas. The regionals are going to be like those local banks in your kind of like in your region. So say you're in the Midwest or you're down south or whatever, and then your local banks are going to be those community banks, right? The benefits of working with the national banks, if you're doing a business deal and you got to do a deposit somewhere or whatever the case may be, and you need to deposit some money or you need to go out and withdraw some money, you'll get a national bank so you can pull money directly out. The benefits of working with like a regional or even a smaller bank level, like a credit union, is because of the fact that credit unions are relationship based. So they're going to want you to, they're going to be focused on how long you've been with them, what type of your transactions are you doing, whereas a national bank is going to be looking at your finances. So most of the time to get certain funding, you're going to need generally, you're going to need like a 680. I've seen cases where you can get funding with a 650, with a 600, but you got to kind of research those out, right? So for instance, with First National Bank of Omaha, right, they allow you to get funding with just a 600 credit score, right? But in order to get that funding, you have to go through certain things with the underwriting department. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody with a 600 score is going to get approved with First National Bank of Omaha. It doesn't guarantee that. There's no guarantee to funding, right? But at least you know if you got like a 620 FICO score. I'm not talking about what's on Credit Karma. That's your Vantage score. It's a difference, right? You got a Vantage score, you got a FICO score. The FICO score is generally what the majority of people are looking at, right? So the FICO score is your FICO score. If it's at like a 620 across the board, and you go apply for like an FNBO, they have other criteria, but that puts you in a better space. And because of the fact that you got that 620, and now you're like, okay, I got a 620, I got I got business bank statements, or I got personal bank statements. I have tenure on my job. Like, I'm giving y'all the requirements to apply for a loan with this along with this bank. You gotta have tenure on your job, so you gotta have been at the job. You gotta have some time on that job, whether it's a year or 2 years. You really need that 600 plus credit score, and they're going to be pulling from like your experience, right? So in knowing that and knowing those factors, well, if your experience is the higher score, you definitely want to look into that bank. But a lot of the things that hold people back with funding is that I'm scared to get denied. I'm scared to get denied. Well, 30 minutes ago, I talked about the emotional side of business. You got to get over your emotions. You can't be want to be a business owner and like you can't be afraid to take risks. Running a business, especially an event-based business, is a risk because you've never done it before. Anything that you've never done before is always going to be a risk. And the person that doesn't properly assess the risk is the person that will go out of business the fastest. Properly assess the risk, accept the risk, and know that it's not guaranteed and move in that way. I moved through all of my businesses knowing that I can at any time I can have an up or I can have a down, and I'm okay with that. And that's what makes me be able to move through my businesses almost flawlessly because I'm not held up with my emotions. So I need you to eliminate that fear of, well, what if I don't get approved or I don't know what my score is? All you got to do is call these people and figure it out. And all you got to do if you don't know what your score is go to Experian.com or go to Identity IQ and you go to these platforms and you see what your actual score is and you get that score pulled and you understand, okay, well, this is what's on my score, this was on my profile, and you ask them questions based off of you looking at your credit profile. If I'm looking at my credit profile and I'm asking them, well hey, look, I gotta do y'all accept people that have late payments that are a couple years old, or what's really the criteria, right? They're gonna tell you. You get the right person on the phone, they're gonna tell you everything you need to know. But most of the time, we're not asking questions. We're not going to the bank and asking them, what's the requirements? What do I need? What sort of documents do I need? Will that kind of guarantee approval? Will that put me in a higher chance of getting approval? Ask very specific questions to get funding from banks. Now, in the FNBO situation that I just gave you, 600 plus credit score, 600, right? 600 plus credit score. Going from there, you can also go to like for instance, you hear a lot of people talk about Navy Federal. With Navy Federal, you're going to need that 680 credit score, and they're pulling from like a TransUnion, right? But it's just not about the score. It's about the amount of inquiries that you have too. For instance, like Chase. Chase doesn't like you to have a bunch of inquiries. So if you're applying for funding and you don't have a lot of inquiries, you got like little to no inquiries in the past 2 years. When I say little to no, I mean one or none in the past 2 years. You probably want to go to Chase first before you go to anybody else. Reason being is because Chase is like, yo, look, I don't want you to have no inquiries if you're going to borrow some money from me. I don't want you to have no inquiries if you're going to apply for these credit cards for me, right? So those are those, right? Now, let's go back to the fact that if I got $10,000 in the bank, how do I get funding that's based off of what I have in the bank? Well, you're going to get funding that way through a fintech company, through like a ClearCard, a Ramp, a Brex. They're not looking necessarily at your score as much as they're looking at what do you have in the bank? What does your last 3 months of bank statements look like? And based on that, that's going to determine whether or not they want to give you funding, right? Now, if you're not in my mastermind, all right, because we got people on YouTube, and I don't want people in my mastermind. You're already in my mastermind. If you're not in my mastermind and you need like a whole list of funding plays and everything like that, just to get this out of the way, I need you to text 312-469-0955. Wow, so I don't forget. So text funding to 312-469-0955. And then I will send you, once I get off of this link, once I get out of here on YouTube, I'm gonna send you the resources that you need for funding. The resources that you need for funding, and what like banks pull what and do this and do that. I got a question. What about this inflation that's going on? Does that change the game with lending? So I'm not an economist, so I'm not really going to talk about inflation and interest rates and stuff like that. But when it comes to lending, banks need people to keep them from going under. I know y'all just seen these banks. Are the banks failures making it hard to get funding? What do you see? That's what I'm so that's what I'm about to explain right now. Banks need people to get funding. So the banks are going under because they don't have people getting loans. So actually, more than ever, this is probably one of the best times to try to go out and get funding and get lending and stuff like that, because the banks want people ain't buying cars like that, people ain't buying homes like that. Keep in mind, the FHA just extended their 30-year mortgage program, and they're now offering, I believe it's the FHA, but they're now offering a 40-year mortgage program, and I think that kicks off in I want to say June of this year. So what does that tell you? That should tell you that people ain't buying property like that. People ain't getting loans like that. So they're doing everything that they can to bring people in to get loans. Now, I don't want to talk too much about banks and how they make their money, because I don't need nobody flagging me and blocking my channel or nothing like that. But you can't let what's going on in the world stop you from moving forward. That is called like, hold on one second. I actually wrote this down because I want to tell y'all exactly what I wrote down with this. Business start up advice. And I need for y'all, while I'm doing this, man, can we get these likes up on this video? Like, what we doing? Can we get the likes up on the video? Like, everybody, like the video. It's 100% free. I ain't asking you to share it. I ain't asking you to do nothing but like it. Like the video. It's 100% free. Just like the video. Hit that little like button on the video, and even leave a comment. I'm answering questions too. Okay, so this is a quote. I'm not gonna read the whole quote, but what I'm gonna say is that, well, I'll read the whole quote. The quote says, when you are fearful, no other possibilities exist. You can't perceive other possibilities or act on them properly, even if you did manage to perceive them, because fear is so immobilizing. So if you are fearful of getting denied or fearful of what's going on in the world, and that's keeping you from starting the business, going out and approaching funding, that's the reason why you won't start the business. That's the reason why you aren't ahead, is because fear is actually keeping you from moving forward. Fear is actually paralyzing you. Fear is immobilizing, right? So we got to get over the fear and understand that, like, either you want to live the life that you got now and stay living that life, or you want to get over fear, apply for funding, because it be people that have 700 credit scores and be like, oh man, I don't want to apply for funding. It be people that have 650 and above, 680 and above, and they're not willing to just get on the phone with your bank and call and see what's going on. I was in there with my credit union. I was in one of my credit unions probably about 2 months ago, and I was asking them about some funding players, right? And they were like, well, we give loans all the way down to if you got a 550 credit score. A 550, they'll give you funding with a 550. And I'm not saying that like 550 is the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying it like that. But I need you to understand, if they're letting people get properties with a 580, and in some cases with a 550, why can't you get funding for a business with that score? You just ain't knocked on enough doors, right? So what I want you to do is comment, well, not comment funding, but text 312-469-0955, text funding. And this is if you're watching this live, you already got all the stuff you need for funding. If you're watching this live and you're in my mastermind, so you ain't gotta text that number. But if you need funding and you need some documents, I got you. I'll give one of my funding documents away for free. It got a lot of plays on there exactly how you get funded, in terms of what the credit score that you need is, what your credit profile needs to look like, what type of team you need to have on the job, what type of pay stubs you need to have. Like, it tells you that information, right? So all you got to do is text funding to 312-469-0955, and I'll get that sent out to you. But back to what I was saying about the fact that everything that's happening in the world is an opportunity. It's all perception. Right now, I'm looking at it like the world is on sale. I'm not looking at it like, oh man, interest rates is up, eggs is high. I don't give a damn about how high eggs is. I don't care about how high groceries are. My mindset is solution based. See, if you want to be a business owner, especially if you're going to have an events based business, you got to be solution based. What do you do when people aren't booking? Do you complain about when people ain't booking, so I don't know what to do, or do you figure out a solution and ask yourself, how can I get more people to book? How can I get more traffic? And then how can I convert that traffic into real life bookings? Right? What can I do to do that? So I told you about how to get funding through like a fintech company where they're not even really checking your credit. They're going off your bank statement. So if you got, maybe your credit score ain't the best, but you got 10,000, 15,000 stored away. I need for you to go open up a business bank account, and I need for you to put that money in there, and I need you to make microtransactions and keep making deposits to that account and apply with like a clear card, apply with like a ramp card, apply with like a Brex card, right? Apply with like a Torpago. These are fintech companies, and they don't necessarily approve you off the standard approval model, which is off of your FICO score or your credit score. They're looking at what does your transactional history look like. See, a lot of people don't even know that basically you can buy a house 100% off of your bank statements in terms of your transaction history without them going off of like how long you've been open and tax returns and all this, that, and the third, right? So going into the next way that you can get funding, going into the next way that you can get you some funding without having a hard equity. Well, again, if you are making money in one of your businesses right now, here's what I need you to do. Stop taking Zelle and Cash App. If you're taking Zelles, if you're taking Cash App, if you're taking money from these third-party platforms that are these the Stripe, I mean the Zelles and the Cash Apps, you're automatically taking yourself out of the hat to get funded because your bank might offer you some, but what if Stripe offered you something or PayPal offered you something and the payment terms weren't 100% based off of your credit score, but they were based off of what type of capital that you bring in every single month? Because that's what it really is. Stripe always offers me a loan. They've been offering me loans since 2022. Like every single month, they're offering me some sort of lending, and they're not going off of my credit. They're going off of my transaction history. They're going off of what sort of money is coming through the bank account, right? Through my Stripe account. So it's the same thing with like a PayPal or like a Stripe or like Honeybook or like Square. So when you set up your event space and you gotta have a site to automate and get bookings through. So if you set up like a Honeybook has the same feature to where if you have so many transactions, you're making so much money per month, they'll actually give you funding, right? Same thing with like a Square. If you go through Square and they're making you got so many transactions, you make so much money, they'll offer you a loan. Like you got to realize that it's not always about your score. It's more than one way to get funding. It's more than one way to get every little bit of everything that you need for your business. But you yet and still aren't exploring all options. You're too focused on how you can get funding with just your credit score, but then you're not even willing to get your credit repaired. So I'm helping y'all out with everything. So if you need credit repair, text repair to 312-469-0955. Again, text repair to 312-469-0955. I'm going to help you fix your credit, right? So I need you to just understand that, like, there's more ways to do what you want to do without necessarily using your credit, without having to rely on credit because you don't need it. I'm not saying you don't need it like at all, but I'm saying like if you're already making money, say you make money with a job, but you just don't like your job, and you open up this event space to leave the job, well, you take some of that money from your job, deposit that money into your business bank account, make microtransactions, set up your net 30 accounts, use that business bank account to pay off these net 30s, show the bank that you're responsible, only use your debit card, right? Only use your debit card to pay this stuff off until you can get you like a business credit card or something like that. And then once you get that, pay that business credit card off in full. And I'm going to talk about the personal credit, the benefits of that as well. And then once we go through that, well, now after 90 days, the bank is like, yo, you looking real sexy. I want to give you some money. And it's the same thing with like a Stripe. Well, when it comes to a Stripe, once you make once you're generating over $5,000 with Stripe and you've been with them for a certain amount of time, Stripe gonna be like, yo, you looking real sexy. I want to give you some money. And they're gonna say, because of this, we're gonna offer you this. And it's no hard inquiry, it's no nothing. They just want to make sure they're gonna do one final review and they're gonna do one final check before, and then in 48 hours the money gonna be in your account. So imagine if Stripe told you, hey, look, you've been making consistently, let's say you made $80,000 within the last 3 to 4 months. Well, shit, if you've done that, Stripe will turn around and say, maybe they say, well, I'm gonna give you $20,000, but all you need to do is accept it. That's literally all you need to do when a merchant processor offers you a loan. You just gotta accept it. You don't have to jump through any extra hoops. They're gonna ask you to confirm your information, and then you accept it or you decline it. But it's not no, oh well, I need you to have this 900 credit score. No, it's none of that. I need you to have this many open accounts. I need you to have this many revolving accounts. It's none of that. They're going 100% off the fact that they know that you get consistent deposits into your account. Now, here's why earlier on I was telling you how important it is for you to make money. Yeah, of course, there's going to be a terrible interest rate with the 550 credit score, but you can't. But which one do you want? Do you want funding, or do you want to worry about the interest rate? Do you want funding now, or do you want to wait until the interest rate, until you get a higher credit score to get the funding? If you got a 550 credit score, the whole purpose is that I'm just trying to get you to understand that you can get you some funds right now. Yes, your interest rate might not be the best, but that's why 30 minutes ago I was just talking about the importance of sales. Forget the interest rate. If you pay the faster you pay the loan off, the less interest you're going to pay on the loan, right? Which is why if you're carrying a balance with your credit cards, your personal credit cards, you're giving them free money. You should be charging your cards and paying it off in full every single month, or keeping that utilization very, very low. Every single month, I damn near max out all of my cards intentionally, and then I pay them off before the statement due date. That's the key. So then they can report, right? So every single month, I'm maxing out my cards, and then I'm paying them off before the statement due date, like clockwork. And you know what happens? You start to get random credit increases. Random. I just got one the other day. They was like, yeah. They was like, if you do this, we'll give you even more. You're going to get random credit increases just because you're doing that. And then it allows you to structure your finances in a way that you're not because with your debit card, you don't want to have a million transactions on your debit card bank statement. When a bank is looking at your statements to see how you manage your money, you don't look sexy to them. You don't look good to them. You don't look great to them. You don't look like a responsible business to them if you got all these transactions. But you know what does look responsible? If you're paying out whatever you need to pay out into one account, and then you're letting that account pay out all the bills. So you gotta be very, very smart when it comes to the funding, when it comes to the utilizations, when it comes to paying off your debt. Like, don't use your debit card to have all these transactions. Make a deposit into another account and let that account pay out all the bills. And just kind of go from there. If you're gonna max out your credit cards, pay them off in full. You don't want to carry any sort of balance at all, if you can help it. And if you can't help but carry a balance, that means that you need to figure out how to make more money or spend less money. But I always like the other solution better, which is make more money. Just go make more money by any means necessary, right? So we went over the fact that merchant processors will give you funding even if you don't have a high credit score. They'll give you money even if you've just been with them for a short period of time. They'll give you the stuff that you need, right? I'm trying to see something, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and if y'all are still on here, man, y'all ain't doing no, man. Share this thing out with somebody. Share this thing out with somebody who need funding, who need money, who need what they need, yo. Like, and ask questions. Like, come on, engage with me. Ask questions about the funding. Ask questions about the event space. Tell me where you are in your journey right now with your business, with your event space. Like I said, my mastermind members, my people that's already in the mastermind, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gotta worry about doing this because y'all already there. Y'all get access to me every single week, every single day. We just had a great time. I gave my mastermind a play for getting more leads and clients. I gave it to them today, and a lot of people executed on it. But before we even get any further, y'all, I want to show y'all real life stuff. Like I don't want to cap. Like you know, be a lot of people out here like, oh, y'all ain't doing that. Like I'm gonna show y'all that, and this ain't even my strike. This is one of my mentees' strike, right, yo. I want to show you what they did in March, right? In March. I hope y'all can see that. I'm gonna do it like this. Hopefully, we can see that. Put it like this. But in March, they did 7,800, right? They did $7,800. So they did basically $8,000 in March. Well, what could you do with an extra $8,000? And if you don't know what you can do with an extra $8,000, you gotta it gotta be a point where you gotta ask yourself why you're not making the money that you really want to make. Like, what are you not doing to make the money that you really want to make? Because if she's making $8,000 while still working her 9 to 5, while still being married, right, having kids, all that, an extra $8,000 to $10,000 every single month, why can't you do it? What's holding you back? And if you got something that's holding you back right now, drop it in the comments. Let me know what's holding you back. Hopefully we can get over it tonight. Hopefully we can get over it right now. Because I'm telling you, your business is going to be 90% mindset, but I need for you to understand that in order to excel in business, you got to be vulnerable in business. You like people don't be want to comment, and I don't want nobody to make it seem like I don't know. It's okay to not know. This is the time to get educated, so then I can tell you exactly what you need to do to get to where you're trying to go to, right? So you're trying to get a space, I can tell you exactly what you need to do right now on this live to get your space. And I'm going to jump into the space after I get done with the funding section of this class. So if y'all, I see that y'all can kind of see it. Let me see, I can put it a little bit closer. So that's what she did in the month of March. She did almost $8,000, right? In the month of March. And that's crazy, right? That's super crazy because what would that do for you? Like, now imagine if you did 8K. Imagine if you did 10K, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. How's that gonna change your situation? Think about that. Think about how an extra 10 to 15, $20,000 changes your situation. But the next piece of funding, right? Well, what is your personal credit score? Have you audited? And if you haven't audited, I need you to go audit that thing right now. And if you need credit repair, you know you need credit repair. If your credit is jacked up, and you know it's jacked up, and you need help getting it right, you got to text repair to 312-469-0955, right? You got to text repair to 312-469-0955, and then I'll give you the tools. You can ask me, like, I'm basically gonna tell you how you can get credit repair for free, like how you can get free credit repair. Of course, you can do it yourself, but who want to worry about sending out letters every single month, or once a month or twice a month? Who want to worry about having to send out letters? Who want to worry about what to say to these people, right? Or do you want the exact answers, if I can talk, right? Do you want the exact answers of what to do, when to do it, and how to do it? So, yeah, y'all can see that. I found a 7,000 square foot space for $5,700 a month, working on funds, but I think I will self-guarantee it. Man, hey, ain't nothing wrong with personal guaranteeing. Like, I think people look at personal guaranteeing the wrong way. You gotta look at it like this. If you personal guarantee to get funding, you pay your regular bills back, so you're gonna have to pay this money back. Like, don't trip on that. Like, I think we get so caught up. That's why it bothers me. Like, everybody's pitching this 100K funding in this many days, and yes, it is possible to do that. But the problem is that you get really, really one-sided in order to thinking that you should be able to get that without using your credit score at all. And it's like, yo, the more money that you get loans for, the bank is gonna be like, yo, well, you want this loan? How much money you got in the bank? What type of money do you make? Are you gonna be able to afford to pay us back? Like that's what they want to know. Can you pay them back? And that's what you should be willing to answer at all times. Yeah, I can pay you back. No problem. Right? So, excuse me. So, right out the gate, if I'm y'all and I need funding and my credit score is not where it needs to be, I'm calling every credit union within a 10 I'll say 3-state radius of north, south, east, and west. So I'm calling all the credit unions that are essentially in my region, right, in my area, north, south, east, and west, through across states though too. And I'm contacting them and seeing what sort of financial products they have for people with whatever the score is. Now, here's the key to that. Credit unions, if you go to a credit union in a lower income community, because that is a lower income community, they have to base their interest rates, what they generally base their interest rates surrounding what's going on in that community. So what does that mean for you? Well, if it's in a lower income community that you got the credit union and you got a better score, you're probably going to luck up with the interest rate. You're probably going to luck up with not just the interest rate, but actually getting the funding. Now, speaking about the 7,000 square feet venue 5,700, me personally, that's a lot of space. I don't know what you plan on doing with the space. I have no clue about that, but I'm I only generally look for 4,000 square feet max based on because of what it's going to do for me. When you start to get into larger spaces, you got to think about the decorations for the space. You got to think about the people that you got to get to come out every single month. Excuse me. You got to think about how challenging that's going to be for you. And I'm not saying that you're not capable of stepping up to the challenge, but you got to be able to really analyze the market, including your market, before you start. So analyze what does it mean to be outside of your comfort zone? What does it mean to be outside and trying to get funding? Like know who you are. Always be an analyzer mode, right? Always be an analyst, essentially. So if I'm y'all, no credit, no nothing, I'm calling every bank. After I get the banks on the phone, I'm being direct. Be direct about the question. Hey, what type of no documentation loans do y'all have for this credit score? What type of lending, credit cards, or whatever do you have for this credit score? What is the criteria? What do I need to show y'all to get approved? If I is there any way that I can get approved for a higher limit? Like ask all of these questions. You got to ask these questions, right? Because if you're not asking these questions, they're not going to just tell you. So my next up piece is that after I do all that, all right, let's say, well, Jarrell, that didn't work. Well, if that didn't work, then you might just have to be a little bit more patient, right? We can do a couple of different things at that point. We can go to CDFI lenders, right? We can go to investors, angel investors. We can go to we got angel investors, we got CDFI lenders, and then we can downright just build up our business credit. Now, there in certain tiers of business credit, guess what happens? You don't necessarily have to use the store card. You can get just a regular card to do as you please with it. Well, how does that change the game for you if you can get a regular business credit, 850, 850, I'm not 850, but regular business credit card that's worth thousands of dollars, that has thousands of dollars on top of it. And imagine if you could get that just off the fact that you had 5 to 7 to even 10 trade lines reported. You want in your business, you need to have probably about 10 trade lines reported. And it's not just to make extra money in the business, but it's also to be prepared for anything happens in the future, right? So speaking of the future, we got to have those when it comes to the space, what it is, right? So I want you to create these multiple streams of income. I want you to have this flexibility room. I want you to apply for funding. I want you to not be afraid. Like, stop being afraid. So the next bank that I would check out, of course, y'all know about Navy Federal or whatever, right? And I told y'all about Stripe. I told y'all about PayPal. I told y'all about Honeybook, right? The next thing that we want to go after. Right before right on the other side of funding, right? What I'm doing, I'm building up the business credit. So when you get these net 30 accounts, pay them off when you get the invoice. So when they bill you, pay it off. And after about 30 to 45 days, if you do that early enough, if you keep doing it, if you do it like early enough, they're gonna go ahead, and I don't mean pay it off like a little bit, pay it off in full. And you need 5 to 10 of these trade lines, these net 30s, net 60s, or net 90s to get to that next tier of business credit, so you can be like, you can get gas cards, you can get Ulines, Grangers, T-shirt club, nav.com, like do all of these things, right? Simultaneously though. So while you're going to the bank and trying to pull down $100 million, build up your business credit just in case that doesn't work out, right? It's not a concept of having plan B, but it's more so of a concept of doing everything. I tell all of my mentees all the time to do everything, right? Do everything. So if you're getting value from the call, man, comment, y'all. Give me some questions. Give me some questions. What y'all got questions on? I feel like it's a people from my event space mastermind in here. Y'all taking up the space. We need to let some people in that got questions. So what's the questions that y'all got for y'all space? Where y'all at in y'all process with y'all space? What do y'all have going on with y'all space? Give me some questions, y'all. Give me some questions. Give me some questions. I just need any questions. Ask some questions while I'm answering these messages. In the meantime, between time too, y'all, I'm doing one of my last deals on mentorship, and it's actually going away. Um, it's actually going away in like 24 hours. So to get that, drop the link in here right now, nothing like that. I don't have it on this phone, but all you got to do if you need mentorship, all you got to do is text 312-469-0955. Text mentor to 312-469-0955. And so what I did was, you can get into my group coaching program for 3 months or for 6 months for an amazing deal. And the crazy thing about it is that people, we get results. Like I started this this class by breaking down that like one of my mentees just got this amount of money. Also, I didn't even mention another one of my mentees just got $12,000 in funding because she stopped using Zelle Cash App and let the money go to her bank account. You got to realize that banks will offer you funding too. Banks are going to come out the gate and say, hey, look, you've been doing this. I want to give you some money. But you have to make yourself look good. You got to have your stuff in order. You got to have your business bank account. You got to have like everything in order. And not a lot of people have everything in order. So if you don't get like a virtual address and instead you use your home address for your business, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Y'all ain't got no questions. Y'all just on the live like, man, I ain't got no questions. I came on the live and I ain't got no questions. Like, no questions? Y'all just like, man, let me just soak in the information. Let me just soak in the information. I'm just here. Then I'm just here. I'm just here bullying then. Y'all ain't got no questions for me. If y'all ain't got no questions for me, then I'm gonna hop off the live. Type in the chat box if you got a question. See what's going on this thing. See what's going on. We got a couple people in here, but you know what I'm saying? What are the questions at? What y'all got going? So, if you struggle with editing your videos, editing your content, I guess I gotta talk about how you can get your space. If you don't have a real estate agent helping you look for your space, you're in trouble. If you're limiting yourself to, if you go under $1,000, you're in trouble. If you go over 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, you might want to reconsider. These are just quick tips on the events.